I'm surprised they even took the case, to be quite honest with you.
I completely agree. I mean, Article 3 that gives the court the jurisdiction to actually resolve these kinds of cases talks about controversies. I mean, the idea is you have to have a thorny problem. You've got to have something to decide. There was really nothing to decide here. And the first bid that they had with one of these emergency petitions that Trump challenged, because of course courts across the country are applying the 14th Amendment, the plain language. They took it as an opportunity to ban so-called universal injunctions, which we can talk about, which was a gift to Donald Trump. They basically did his bidding in this emergency thing. But the fact that they didn't use that to just slap this one down. I mean, the problem, Frank, is that, it's left millions of Americans in the midst of a crackdown by ICE in fear that their kids could be non-citizens. And one more thing, one of the justices asks, I think it was Jackson, could you strip people of their citizenship retroactively?
Which, by the way, I think Trump would love to do.
Well, he went back to the executive order and says, well, we're not doing that now. And this justice responded and said, yeah, but what, you could change your mind later.
No.
The Constitution's a constitution, as you know, Frank. It's not unconstitutional one day and or constitutional or unconstitutional the next day. I mean, if they declare that this was always misread, it should have been domicile, whatever, allegiance / whatever, then it throws into the complete confusion of many years of birthright citizenship.
Well, and if people are wondering, you heard Kim's reference to this could affect millions. If people are wondering what the numbers look like, and Kim, tell me if you have different numbers. But what I found was approximately 300,000 babies a year are born here to either non-U.S. citizens or non-lawful or status people. Is that about right? 300,000?
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah,
you can imagine the mess that this is going to create. And kind of to almost close this out, Sean, play John Roberts, the Chief Justice. He puts Sauer, the Solicitor General, in his place. Sauer's trying to say the Constitution needs to be reinterpreted because, we're living in a new world. Sean, play that for us.
Interpretation has made a mess of the provision.
Well, it certainly wasn't a problem in the 19th century.
No, but of course, we're in a new world now, as Justice Alito pointed out, where 8 billion people are one plane ride away from having a child who's a U.S. citizen.
Well, it's a new world. It's the same Constitution.
It's a new world, but it's the same Constitution. John Roberts. I love that.
They were not going to take the political bait. They weren't going for it. And that was really reassuring.
That should be a bumper sticker or a T-shirt. It's a new world, but the same Constitution. That's for you. You can put that on. I'll give it to you free of charge.
I wrote that one down too, Frank. I must say it really was stunning coming out of the Chief Justice. And again, it comes back to the top of the show. This is not about what's the proper reading of the Constitution. This is about shoving his immigration policy down the throats of Americans. And you can do that through the United States Congress. You can do that through an amendment to the Constitution. The justices are saying you're not doing it through us.
So I'll close out with this. A lot on this topic, and we'll move on. But a lot of folks listening to us, watching us today, may have dual citizenship. I can't tell you, and I'm sure you're experiencing this too in your network of people saying, I need a plan B. I need to have some, if all hell breaks loose here and we lose our democracy, I need to go somewhere else. And they've applied for and even obtained citizenship somewhere else. Is there any possibility that the 14th Amendment and this, subject to the jurisdiction thereof, is exclusive, subject to the exclusive jurisdiction thereof? Could we be going to a place where if you have dual citizenship and you're American, you're kicked out, or you have to give up one of them?
Well, the two elements, and I'm not sure how they reconcile, is allegiance, right? Their new definition is allegiance. And then the other part of the new definition is domicile, meaning I'm living here and I intend to stay here. So under both of those, I think new tests that Donald Trump through John Sauer wants to replace with like the leading test, which is you're just born within the authority of the United States territory. Sky's the limit. I don't put anything past this president, and unfortunately, these unfortunately, these lawyers, my latest Substack, I talk about how, so many executive orders and things, and even representations in court are getting past the lawyers that never would have gotten past the lawyers before. I mean, there's a White House counsel for a reason, right? There's a Department of Justice Attorney General for a reason. Lawyers are supposed to tell presidents, listen, this is okay, this is not okay. We saw this with January 6th, the infamous memo telling Vice President Pence that he could actually not certify the election. That's at least under a world where you had to pretend you could get through the lawyers. I mean, now the stuff that's coming out under the auspices of the White House with a seal that's supposed to go through lawyers, it's not being lawyered, Frank.
Yeah.
And I think it's really confusing to people.
This is scary stuff. And I'm sure many of you out there who have the dual citizenship, who've gotten it in the last year or two because of your concerns, are now flipping out. And I don't mean to panic people, but my God, if you go, let's say you did Canada, Ireland, Italy, whatever you're eligible to get, and now you visit over there and you come back and you've come back with your Canada passport or your Italian passport, and now they stop you at the airport and they go, "What's the deal with this? You're a U.S. citizen carrying an Italian passport, and now here you go, you're in secondary, and who knows?"
I mean, Justice Barrett asked a similar question. She said, what if you're an American citizen, but you're living in Norway and you married a Norwegian? I mean, I don't know if she added that detail, but you're living in Norway, you come to the United States, you have a baby in the United States, you're an American citizen, and you move back to Norway.
Yeah.
Because don't have an intent to remain here, and maybe your allegiance is in more than one place. Does that mean your child's not an American citizen? I mean, it's a hot mess beyond, It's a hot mess of hot messes. One last point, though, that I think is important is that it could create like stateless people that don't have any state. So, for example, Nepal, if you are a Nepalese citizen and you have a baby in the United States, there's no way under Nepalese law for your baby to be a citizen of Nepal. So you'd have stateless people because they were born in the United States. And that, Justice Alito mentioned, is a violation of humanitarian international law. So it's layers and layers and layers, Frank. It's really just a nightmare.
Yeah. So this is a huge test of the Constitution and the court, and we're going to hope that common sense and the Constitution prevails.